rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was taught with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, I'll cast it like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's the number one chief, Rocket Knicks University main man, Uncle Freezy, and welcome to the premier Knicks in the Nighttime show, the Knicks at Night podcast. Salute to everybody watching on YouTube. Salute to everyone watching us on X. Salute to all the members of the channel. Y'all see them, the names at the bottom of the screen. Salute to all the members, man. Thank y'all for supporting the channel. If you're new here, this is your first time here, consider subscribing to the channel, hit that like button, and let's get started with the show. Let's get started. I have a topic that I want to talk about with everyone, and I'm going to add it here to the screen. I probably should have added it before. I'm going to add it now just so that you guys can follow along with the conversation and what we're talking about. All right, so this is where we are. Is OG Anunoby playing center a sign of smart playoff prep, or a red flags about the Knicks' faith in their traditional bigs? Tell me what y'all think, man. Tell me what y'all are thinking. Is this a red flag kinda about maybe Cat and his defense? Is this a red flag about Mitchell Robinson's offense? Is this a maybe a sign of maybe OG Anunoby is, or an OG Anunoby type, that OG Anunoby type of guy at center, a better fit for Mike Brown's system? Lee Escobedo was in the building. Salute. Rich Boy was good. Five Adam was happening. Tell me what y'all are thinking. My guy is in the thing, man. I always gotta, every time I see him, I just gotta do this just off GP. And no matter what the topic is, I wanna make sure my guy know that the love is out there. So, but yeah, how are y'all feeling about seeing OG Anunoby close games at the 5, even against a gargantuan type center, historic level scorer like Joel Embiid, right? Like Joel Embiid. Like, how does that make you feel where Mitchell Robinson is not the choice to close, right? But OG Anunoby is the choice to close at the 5 in a very flexible lineup that also featured Landry Shamet, right? Just want to get your thoughts on that, because we've seen this before, right? We've seen this before, but we hadn't seen this. I don't know if we've seen this as a go-to. Is this a go-to now, right? Is Karl-Anthony Towns being repurposed? Is Mitchell Robinson being repurposed? Is OG Anunoby being repurposed? And here's the thing. Here's the thing with an OG Anunoby repurposing. If this is a new thing that's going to be implemented, then who plays those real life OG Anunoby minutes? Because if OG is replacing someone, who is replacing OG in his original role, right? So we know OG is not going to be a full-time 5, right? We know that, right? But what I'm asking is, when OG Anunoby does take that role, how do you prep him for that role? And who replaces OG so that OG Anunoby can step into this new role? Do you prep OG? Is OG Anunoby's replacement Karl-Anthony Towns? Do you sit OG longer in the middle of the game so that he can be repurposed at the end of the game, closing at the 5? Is there a schematic replacement or a personnel replacement? It's an interesting question, because OG Anunoby looked like a man possessed when in that moment of managing the backline defense. OG Anunoby in that role looked more like a, dare I say, Kevin Garnett versus a now, mind you, he's not tall like Kevin Garnett. He may not even be the defender Kevin Garnett is, right? We don't know that for sure, right? But what we do know is that OG Anunoby at times has been repurposed into this role. And the Knicks look better with OG in that role. Now, is that because other teams are not prepared for that look with OG at the 5? That may be a thing. Generally, at the end of games, though, as opposed to a big ball handler working for position in order to get shots low, right? I would say that the OG at the 5 at the end of games, where you have a switchable big alongside 3 or 4 great perimeter defenders, turns the Knicks end of game defense into a multifaceted defense that is weaponized with strength and speed and quickness, as opposed to being really strong or being really fast and quick. That defense gives you the flexibility to be both. Justo is in the building. Justo says, I think it is spacing maximized without dipping defensively or offensively with the athletic wing that can cause havoc and confusion for the opponent. That's exactly what it is, Justo. That's exactly what it is. But what it also does is it puts another offensive and defensive look on tape for your opponents. Ivory 10 is in the building. Salute. Ivory 10 says, keep in mind, guarding 5s is not what OG wants to do very much in situations. Why not? Gotta be as effective as, yeah. Hey, Ivory 10, exactly. This is exactly what I'm saying. I noticed I didn't say start OG Anunoby at the 5. That's not what we're talking about. OG Anunoby is not so he's a big man, but he's not a big man, if that makes sense, right? He's a big man, but he's not a big man, if that makes sense, right? Salute Rel in the building. Salute. So this OG Anunoby playing the 5 playing center in late game situations makes sense on a lot of different levels because, for one, at the end of games, teams are genuinely not looking to slow the offense all the way down so their big man can get, the look, a gorgeous look, right? Time is of the essence, right? Everything is sped up most of the times, everything is sped up. So we won't worry about Jokic taking OG in the post and dribbling the clock out, trying to find his move or trying to find his shot. Most of the times where this will be deployed is in those situations where teams are trailing and they're looking to get the 2-for-1 because the time and score is not in their advantage. Right? The time and score is not in their advantage. So they look to score quickly. Right? That's when you would deploy it, and at the same time, that's why it's to our advantage. But I don't know how I feel about looking at this as the long-term quotient. I don't know how I feel about this being the long-term quotient. I think it can be a variable, right? I don't think it can be a long-term quotient. Bodega Wi-Fi in the building? Hold on, yeah. I was working on some stuff over the weekend too, so y'all bear with me, man, as I work through some things too. So just working on a few things here. How do y'all feel about the ending of yesterday's game? So how do y'all feel after you watched the end of yesterday's game? As you watch the end of yesterday's game, I don't want to recap it because I know you guys have seen just about every show imaginable, every Knicks show imaginable. And you've seen the end of yesterday's game. Yeah. Hey man, yeah. Playing on our heels is habitual, right? I would say this though. I'm just gonna step out here on a limb and say this. The NBA has a few teams that are super talented. The Sixers are one of them. The Sixers are one. I legit went into the Sixers game yesterday thinking this game could go a number of ways. The Sixers could legit blow us out of the gym, for one. Right? We were playing in Philadelphia. The Sixers legit could have run us off the floor. That's one wild scenario. Right? Another scenario is we could have run the Sixers off the floor. Right? We could have blown them out. Right? Another scenario is it could have been something somewhere in the middle, and that's basically closer to where we are. We got a game closer to the middle. 2 playoff teams, 2 teams with Hall of Famers on it, 2 teams, 2 prideful organizations, a division game, a game full of star forwards and such. So it could have gone in any direction, and it did. Basically, that's where we are with it. Keith Turner's in the building, right? Yeah. 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 That game could have gone in any direction. It's what it is. Is OG Anunoby playing center a sign of smart playoff prep? I think so. I think so. I think so. You got to have, at this point of the season, you got to prepare for what's to come. At least try some things, right? You got to at least try some things. Right. So you got to at least try some things. I think the Knicks tried a few things yesterday with the OG thing. As I think about the game yesterday, I'm legit thinking like we saw Mike Brown looking to try new stuff. The OG stuff, I think, was not a sign of desperation, but maybe more of a let's try some stuff. Ivory says OG at center is the last resort, not necessarily a strategy or tactic, in my opinion. And I don't know if that's the in case y'all can't tell, I have a lot of thoughts about it. I've been thinking about this since yesterday. I've been thinking about it basically all day. I think the boost in athleticism it gives is a plus. I think the boost in defense is a plus. I think it gave the Sixers an exotic look, a non-traditional exotic look that forces guys to think. Okay. I think this is it gave Philly an exotic look, and you could tell it really stirred up Tyrese Maxey. Right? Like the last shot that Maxey took with Embiid wanting the ball is the chaos that you wanted. Right? So it's not a thing that dang, the Seahawks. Yo, the Seahawks and the Patriots, man, really? Yo, the NFL, the NFL script is too ridiculous. Really? This is where we are. The Seahawks and the Patriots. Let me guess, they're gonna play in a Super Bowl city that has hosted the Super Bowl before too. So the OG look is interesting in that I think it's a weapon. I don't know if it's going to be one of those things that we use or that Mike Brown will use consistently. I think it's a interesting weaponized wrinkle that other coaches have to think about. And ironically, ironically, it got OG Anunoby going offensively as well. It got OG Anunoby going. You saw the shirt tail come out of you saw the jersey come out. You saw OG all over the floor. Next thing you know, OG Anunoby was the best player on the floor for either side. Is this a thing that Mike Brown is going to start to use in just those defensive situations? Or is this a thing where maybe when OG's struggling, you can pull this out to get OG Anunoby going against other opponents? Maybe it's not a thing reserved for the last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter, last 4.5 minutes or so of the fourth quarter. Maybe it is a thing you use at the end of the first quarter if OG Anunoby is maybe 2 for whatever it is. Jay, what's good, brother?
Everything. I woke up today, so I feel great. How about you, brother?
Blessings, man.
Blessings to you, brother.
Blessings. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Always.
How are you feeling about seeing OG Anunoby at the 5 yesterday?
I love it. I love the short, this what I call the short team or the small team, the fast team. You know, I the way OG is a strong man, and we've seen him do some very strong things.
Right.
The way he guarded Embiid, the way he put himself, positioned himself, you know what I mean, locked into him. I think it made it very hard on him to do anything really like worthwhile under the rim.
Okay.
Do I want to always see it? I know that wasn't part of the question, but I think it's a good look, you know, here and there for sure.
Okay. So here's my sense of it, right?
Okay.
Of course, the Knicks traditionally don't deploy exotic looks defensively. They don't. The Knicks, under, say, in the last 5 years or so, they rarely deploy odd man traps. They rarely deploy traps with zone coverage behind. They rarely play aggressive press man with traps behind it for the clear pass. Like if they trap you, if they press you, trap on the outlet pass. They rarely do gimmicky exotic defenses. Right?
Understood.
Right?
Yeah.
They rarely, and when they double team is probably as exotic as Knicks defenses get.
Yep.
Right? Like legit double teams, basic double teams is normally as exotic as Knicks defenses get when they're not trailing significantly. Now, when you're trailing significantly, you deploy whatever defense will get you back in the game, right? Yeah. But just to slow an opposing scorer down, the Knicks generally just play defense harder, right? That's what we do. Say, for instance, if Anthony Edwards is on a heater, we generally try Mikal Bridges, and then if Bridges is getting torched, then you deploy OG Anunoby, and then if OG is still getting torched, then you deploy a zone.
The zone, right?
Yep. That's basically what it is. Because the Knicks historically, the past 5 or so years, seemingly have a hole in that aggressive man defense on the perimeter, and it's susceptible to weak side threes.
Yeah.
Right. So we've been susceptible to weak side threes, and then on top of that, when a player gets going, then we're in trouble without even deploying the aggressive press man defense, fighting over screens or switching or whatever. We're just in trouble from the get-go. Right? We're just in trouble from the get-go. It's just what it is.
Yeah,
right?
because we already allowed it. Now they got cooking. So yeah, I get it.
Right. So one of the things that I noticed though with the OG Anunoby thing is when you move OG Anunoby farther away from the point of attack, he gets to scan more of the floor. Right?
Mm.
Which in a sense, and I know this sounds like, well, Uncle Freezy, of course he sees more of the floor, man, because no, not in that sense. I'm not saying see the floor. What I'm saying is the further you are away from the point of attack, the more you can see what others are doing within this offensive set. And based on your experience, you can anticipate or intercept what the offense wants to do. And even if you're beat, you have enough time to recover. Whereas if you're on the ball, you kind of get a sense for what the offense is looking to do, but you can't see what's behind you.
Right.
And for the most part, you can't see what's adjacent to you on either side. Someone behind you has to communicate that. Jay, screen right, right? And then Jay is being aware, even though he's moving this way, right? He's aware that there's a screener coming to his right. Right. And so with moving OG away from the ball, seeing more of the floor, he can play, I guess in layman's terms, he can be more of a free safety. Like legit have his responsibility and see what's unfolding for others in front of him so that he can intercept or communicate what might be a better defense.
Yep. That's it. It's funny you said that. That's what I was thinking about. Something like a free safety or something that could, like you said, communicate. The word I was thinking was direct. Yo, I see him right there, and direct them towards that way. Also, when you say Jay screen right, I almost did. I moved my body for a minute. I'm not joking. Long day, crazy day. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And it's almost like if you put him back there, the game slows down a little bit for him. Because he's able to see everything else that's going on. When you're on a guy who's cooking, let's say, and your only move is to maybe give him another half foot, that doesn't change much.
Right.
He's still gonna cook. He might even cook even more now because now he has an extra step to dribble with.
Right.
Right. And another thing about OG that when he does get into it, there's like two versions of OG. Right. And I'm not talking center position wise. There is an OG that is efficient with his defense enough, but he could do more. An OG that can shoot well, but he could shoot better.
Right.
And then there's an untucked shirt OG.
Right.
That gets busy. If he could learn how to be the untucked shirt OG from
I remember somebody pointing that out. You know who you heard that from first?
Who pointed that out?
Yeah, Uncle Freezy pointed out that like 2 months ago. Like the OG on the Rampage OG. Like, oh, here comes that shirt.
Yep, I'm definitely hearing that. Yeah. I don't know if this Freezy you're talking about, but yeah, I burned. Yeah, I definitely
untucked OG.
Yeah, there's two versions, right?
When I say that, man, Tory B go crazy. Like, here come the shirt. Here come the jersey. Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
it's a two version.
yeah,
Now that's kind of like in a fight, a boxing guy goes, he's doing well. All of a sudden he gets hit. Boom. Whoa. He does have power.
yeah.
Now he got to adjust.
Yeah.
Got to get a little pissed off, right? A little bit ticked off, and then all of a sudden, it's like OG turns into original gangster. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So I see what you're saying. I like I said, I like that lineup. But it can't be, from my personal opinion, it can't be obviously it has to be deployed for portions of the game, for rebounding purposes, for all different types of things.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Definitely situational. Chat, definitely situational. OG is not a starting center in the NBA. That's not what we're talking about. I know I said that about 2 or 3 times already, and so if it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse, I just want to make sure that the point is received for the way that it's given, and not received as like said to just be like a lack of knowledge about basketball, right? Because the clear thing is Karl-Anthony Towns has a bunch of NBA value, and Mitchell Robinson has a bunch of NBA value, and OG is not a better player at center than either of those guys. That's not what we're saying. But if we're looking for a strategic adjustment in real time against a team that is in your division and looking to take your place in the standings, to make that adjustment and deploy it in a way that works, to me, is a strategy that was worth trying, right? And it was effective, is the point. That's the point.
Right.
That's the point. Now, can you use this later on in the season? Absolutely. Is
Sure.
Landry Shamet going to be the adequate replacement for whoever the center is that leaves the game? Absolutely, because he's a willing defender on the perimeter, taking the place of where OG Anunoby is, and that way OG Anunoby can slide to the 5. You still get decent 3-point shooting, decent perimeter defense, and now OG Anunoby is the captain of your backline defense, communicating everything to everybody, and now you can swarm guys and make teams that come out with a number 1 option out of a timeout or a play call from the bench. You can make them audible, that offensive play, because of the defense and personnel that you have on the floor.
Absolutely. Add to the fact that if while on the floor you have Embiid, I'm just talking about yesterday's game, Embiid, maybe another big man out there, you also become quicker than them. Right. Because your big guy is quicker than you. You might get shorter, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the way he was defending him was making it hard for Embiid to put up shots to begin with. But now when you're off and running, Embiid's not catching OG.
Right. No.
So now you're catching yourself in 4-on-3s, 5-on-4s, 5-on-3s.
Right.
So it works both ways. And I think it was very successful.
Right.
And I think, the word I would think of is, it is far less rigid than it has been in the past, where it was.
What do you mean by rigid, though?
Rigid, like, in other words, that would never happen in the past, because we would never consider putting somebody who is traditionally probably a small forward at the center position to create, a different look and different ball movement and different things happening. So partially rigid, depending on the coach we're talking about, and also the style of basketball we're playing, and somebody who also who's not thinking right outside the box really quick. So I listen. I thought the first time we tried it, I don't want to be quoted on it. This is just me being human and putting it out there. It might have been we got to do something. I don't know what to do. Let's try this out.
Right.
But then if it's successful, what he did when it happened last night, I believe it saved the game. So yeah, two different versions of it. And most things come out of that, right? Most things come out of, we're going to try if you don't practice it on a regular basis at your own practice, most things come out of trial and error, right? So we got to try something new here. All right.
And is the mother of necessities, basically.
Yeah, that's a word. Yep. 100%. 100%.
Right. So the thing is this, man. So here's the thing, right?
Yep.
Mike Brown has been playing a guy this size at the 5 all year. And his name is Gershon Yabusele, right? So Gershon Yabusele has been playing minutes at the 5 with the Knicks all year, but the result is not the same.
Right.
The result is not the same. The result has been up and down, mixed bag, but it's been done with a different unit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me say this though. I saw Lee Escobedo in the chat, man. Salute to probably the sharpest mind in Knicks universe, my man Lee Escobedo. Shout out to my brother Ron, still Knicks fans. He is I'd like to call him my little brother, but I think he may be taller than me. I think Ron is like 6'7" or something. I saw Ron at the bodega, like I might be 6'6.5" with Tim's on, with some butters on. Ron is like 6'8" barefoot.
Yeah, barefoot.
Ron
no, he's 7'8" barefoot, because I'm 7'2", and I was at the same bodega, and I looked up. I was like,
Ron, is that you?
Is that you, Ron?
I saw Ron at the bodega. Ron is like 6'8". So I saw he's like out of Pappy. Okay, bro, you the Pack? Okay.
If I saw Ron, I swear, I'm jumping off that ledge. So I'm sorry.
Yo. So
peace to you, Ron, man. Peace to you.
Yes.
And to Lee, man. I caught them the other day. He was cooking.
Yeah. So
sounded like a similar life than I did. Like very similar. It was awesome.
Salute to Ron, the fifth member of Boys II Men. Salute to Ron. Yo, salute.
Don't. I can't drink this coffee now. You see what you did? I'm gonna spit it out. I can't. Yo. Oh man. Oh. That is unbelievable.
Boys II Men, bro. Oh my God. Hey man, salute to my guy. Salute. That's Ron. And for those that don't know, that's still Knicks fan sitting at the chessboard in that Let It Snow video. In that Let It Snow video, that guy in the back with the New York Giants hat on, that's still Knicks fans.
That's right.
That's right. Y'all didn't know Ron was a Giants fan? Look at that Let It Snow video. That's Ron right there.
He is. He knows the teams to pick.
Say salute the
Oh
Celtics fans,
man.
man.
I gotta figure. I can't even drink this yet. Yo, I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
man.
Yo,
That's-
7'9", Ron, with such a beautiful, gentle soul. I can't pay. Yo, it's just amazing. I'm like, yeah.
Yo,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Salute to my guy, man. One of the best
Yeah.
content creators in the game. Nobody worked harder. Nobody, bro, to dedicate a Saturday afternoon to Knicks fans deserves sainthood. Just that alone deserves sainthood. Saint still, how do we say it though? Saint still Knicks fans or Saint Ron? Should we say
Saint Ron?
Saint Ron or Saint still Knicks fans? Saint Ron?
Saint Ron, but say Saint Ron from.
Saint Ron from still, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Saint Ron. We're gonna give him a holiday, maybe February 29th is Saint Ron Day.
Yeah. I'm about to call him all Saint Ron, but I don't want to get. He's too big now. I don't want him to, hurt me. You know what I'm saying?
We don't want church popping up on the top of bodegas.
Right.
Go buy a sandwich, then go upstairs and get saved. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Listen, you know what? You're giving me ideas. Yo, next year, look out for the churches on top of your local bodegas. I'm telling you.
Right.
Here they come.
Right.
Get your sandwich, get your drink, and come upstairs.
Right. No doubt about it, man.
Yeah.
Mike Brown. So getting back to the topic, man, the Mike Brown thing is intriguing to me because some of the stuff that I see that are adjustments are things that I saw Tom Thibodeau do last year. And it makes me think if some of the adjustments that we made are some adjustments that we've already seen from the previous coach, are they really adjustments? Or are they comfortable moves made by a veteran group that would prefer to get to things they're comfortable with? Or so Jay, basically I'm trying to get to a point of is this group of veteran guys amenable to trying new things?
Yesterday they seemed to be. I think that that's an interesting question. Really, who's that on? Is it on them to be that way, or is it on the coach to make it that way? See, that's the real question to me. I don't care, and I'm going to say some blasphemous things to some people. I don't care, and he's my favorite player on the team, that he's Captain Clutch. If he has to play a different position and the coach says so, and he says no, bench him. That's it. You're part of a team. Yesterday, how excited did I get just to see Mike Brown get off the bench, get off the chair, out of his chair, and start coaching.
Right.
So if he's going to coach and he's going to continue to be that way, you cannot be a leader. You could be a quiet leader, but you can't be a silent leader. You can be in sports, in this in particular world, your voice needs to be heard. You're the leader of a team. Because eventually, if you don't, you lose the locker room. Somebody else takes over, usually a player. And for a little while there, that's what I thought was happening with him, particularly. And I thought it was very interesting. Last point, that OG came in at that time, because for a little while there, Mitch was cooking.
Right.
Really cooking. But he needed a different thing to happen at that particular moment, and he made that call. It was gutsy. It was good.
See,
And I applaud him.
that's the thing, though. What you're saying, we know that to be true, right?
Mm-hmm.
At all levels of every sport.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about that, though, is the more power these players get, the less power the coaches have.
It all came on money. Got bigger.
And so when it comes to the flex, like the Bobby Knight, Coach K, Hubie Brown flex, right? The players have less respect for that. But let me do this first, because I saw this come through first, and I wanted to get to it. And then there's another that came through. So just so respectfully, I'm just gonna press pause on the point just for a second. Paris Duggar, thank you for the generous contribution. Paris Duggar says, Philly caught us in back-to-back twice, so they saw us with full D and energy legs, which makes us gritty, ugly, and hard to beat. Right. I agreed. Never didn't give that one much thought, Paris Duggar, but I tell you what, when I talk to Eat Sleep Sixers, I'm gonna bring that up. Right. And the second one, Paris Duggar, thank you again for the generous contribution. He says, why not use Tibbs' strategy? That's not why he's gone. Tibbs is gone for not being political. Oh, you bench JB and your lottery team, so knock it off. And right. Yep. Agreed. So here's the thing. Tibbs is not gone because of just what he did on the floor. Tom Thibodeau is gone because of what James Dolan said. They wanted to try new stuff. They wanted to implement new stuff. They wanted to be a modern NBA team and do things the modern NBA way. And Tom Thibodeau drew a line in the sand and said no. And when you say no to your boss enough times, you already know what's coming, right? Mm-hmm. It don't matter how valuable you feel like you are as an employee. When you say no to your boss, when you draw a line in the sand to your boss, you already know what the consequences may be. And he faced those consequences, right? Is Tom Thibodeau a dummy? No. Is Tom Thibodeau strong-willed? Yes. Is the reason why he's not the head coach of the Knicks because he's a dummy? No. Is the reason why Tom Thibodeau is not the coach of the New York Knicks right now because he's too strong-willed and was not flexible and did not want to be collaborative with the rest of the organization? Yes. And it's happened in multiple places, right? This is who Tom Thibodeau is. He's not collaborative. You know what you're getting in the early stages of Tom Thibodeau. In the later stages, when it's time to be collaborative, when it's time to be, because here's the thing, and this is no dig on Tom Thibodeau, and this is no dig on a coach of that style. Organizations win championships. That's why the first person to touch the Larry O'Brien trophy is the owner, right? Mm-hmm. Owner is presented the trophy, right? You never see, you don't, if you've seen it, it's clearly an error. The Larry O'Brien trophy goes to the owner, and the organization showcases that trophy inside the organization. The Larry O'Brien trophy is not stored at someone's house, at someone's mansion. The Larry O'Brien trophy is an organizational reward. This is what you get for being the organization that won a championship. And Tom Thibodeau, to his credit and to his discredit, right, is not collaborative. Is he a great basketball mind? Yes. Is he a great collaborator? No. That's the reason why he's not coaching in the NBA right now. So I get it. I get the Tibbs supporters. I respect Tom Thibodeau, but you have to be a collaborator. right? It's the reason why Lawrence Tears is great, right? Because even though Lawrence Tears has a bunch of great minds in it, right? It takes great minds to collaborate in order to put together a great product all the time.
Yep.
Right? It's not like a one-man show. It's not like, there's a boss and some under. No, it's a collaboration of great minds that take ideas and think about all the ideas together to present a great product. And if all Knicks content creators did the same, we'd be flooded with great Knicks content all the time. Collaboration in today's age is the way to survive, not dictatorship. So, I mean, I get that point. But at the same time, Tom Thibodeau had to understand that the Knicks had a bunch of smart people in the organization, and you have to trust great minds. It's the reason why Michael Jordan ran the Charlotte Hornets into the ground. You can't have one guy at the top saying every draft, hey, you got to find another guy like me. No.
There is no other guy like you. Find something else.
Michael Jordan, like, what are you doing? The team is like, the owner is like, I don't care what we have to do to find a guy like me, but find a guy like me. Right? Yeah. So,
I'm coming back down to play for 10 games. I'm going to go back up in the stands when I'm done.
Right. Yeah. The owner.
If you don't find this guy, I will come down there and start.
Right.
Yeah, you can't do it. No, definitely. The collaboration part of that's a good point about Tibbs.
It's the great thing about, and it's the great thing about content as well. Like even in our chats, we see great minds in the chat. Like people have great ideas and such. Even in our chats, people put together great thoughts and things. Even in our chat, right? The thing is when it's presented in a way of I'm a genius and everybody else is a dummy, nobody's gonna respect your point.
Right.
Like even that, like even when we see great ideas, great thoughts in the chat and all that stuff, we're thinking like, hey man, that's a great thought, but maybe my guy presented that in a way where everybody else is an idiot. Or maybe it's presented in a way like, I'm better than everyone else. You're like, I can't.
That happened.
Yeah, I can't respect you.
Yeah, that exactly.
But
I'm sorry. I have a rough time. I have a rough time with that. And it's frustrating. I have a thought here about like. It's not a bad thing to use those strategies that we saw with Tibbs, like you said, and to deploy your own personality on top of that would make it great. And that I've been watching Brown, right? This to me, this whole year has been about what Brown is going to be. How he's going to coach. To me personally, I needed to see the difference in the coach. That's we added some more people, but we didn't add a ton of new people, right? We so it was about the difference in the coaching, right? What else was it about? So, in the beginning, we were doing something great. But I also thought that he was also trying to see who was playing good with who. And then we hit some snags and we got some injuries. And when the player came back, he stopped going to what was working. And look, that doesn't mean that I don't think that Deuce should play the same amount of minutes that he's playing and that he was on fire. And I did call him Deuce, not Miles. Yes, Deuce. But now you're not deploying the same things at that particular moment. So that's what had me worried then. Sometimes, so I'm a little confused by Brown, to be honest with you, because when you go ahead and you make a different change that looks outstanding and helps us win a game, but then you also like, do you believe that there's something like either tinkering too much or something to find out in the wrong part of the year? Or do you think that it's okay to continue to find out what works right for as long as you need to take it? Or do you think that he should already know what works right?
So we're 46 games in, right?
Right. That's about we're more than half. Right?
Yeah, so we're 46 games. And to your point, how much more time do you need in order to see what you have? Right.
Right.
The thing is as soon as you interviewed for the job, as soon as you decided to interview for the job, you should have already known what the Knicks had. Right.
Yeah.
Right. You should know. Like, you don't get through the interview process if you don't know who Jalen Brunson is. You don't get through the interview process if you don't know what the Knicks' problems are. The problems are where we can't figure out a way to have all this talent mesh 100% of the time and stay healthy. Right?
Agreed.
That's our
Right.
issue. That's the issue. Right? Is the issue is mesh all of this talent offensively, defensively, and in transition all of the time, and stay healthy. Right? That's the issue. Mike Brown clearly made a statement coming in the door that transition offense and defense is going to be a priority. Right? From defense, like, speed up into offense. Well, you know what that's called? Transition. Right?
Exactly.
That's key. You get the defensive rebound, you look to push. That's transition. Mike Brown put emphasis on that. And so if we're going by what Mike Brown is saying that he wants, clearly he knew what he had. Because in order to get from point A to point B, you have to understand what's going on in point A, I'm sorry.
Right.
Right. You have to understand your starting point if you want to go somewhere.
Exactly.
Right. So the thing is to the point that you're making, and I understand I went about a roundabout way to answer,
I'm with you.
But it's a delicate question based off of a sensitive topic.
Right.
The topic that you mentioned is a sensitive topic. Every time somebody mentions it, it's like a rock in our shoe. We already know what it is.
Right.
Right. We already know. That's why every time somebody mentions it, somebody somewhere is offended. Right. Right. It's just what it is. Right. Like, it's like the part
that's a fact. I'm laughing because it's true. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a fact.
Right. It's every time we talk about Mitchell Robinson's offense, somebody is offended. Every time we talk about Cat's defense, somebody somewhere is offended. Every time we talk about Jalen Brunson's defense, someone is offended. Right? But these are real issues. Every time we talk about OG and Mikal Bridges appearing or disappearing, someone somewhere is offended. How do you get all these things to mesh? Right? That's Mike Brown's issue. Mike Brown knew that before he got here, because this is not a new problem. This is a new to Mike Brown problem. Right?
Exactly.
This is just what it is. Like, I'll give an example of one of my clear frustrations, right? One of my clear frustrations is that Mitchell Robinson doesn't average 15 points a game. That's one of my clear frustrations. My clear frustration is Mitchell Robinson doesn't average 15 points a game. Right?
Okay.
Is that a Tom Thibodeau issue? Partly. Is that a Jalen Brunson issue? Mostly. Is that a Mike Brown issue? Partly. Is that a Jalen Brunson issue? Definitely. Is it a Mitchell Robinson issue? Of course it is.
Yes.
Of course it is.
And then you could sprinkle in a few other people. Yes.
Right. Because teams legit, and this is just me. There are a few things we're going to talk about with this, but I'm just going to point out the one thing that's a rock in my shoe. Right. I think Mitchell Robinson should be 15 and 12 every night.
Me too.
Every night. Mitch Robinson should be 15 and 12. Every single game he plays. Right?
Yep.
Right. But the thing is, Mitchell Robinson, in my opinion, is open after every time he sets a screen, he's open. We don't even look at Mitch. Right? But that's one part. Right? Here's the other part. Here's the other part to it, which I think is all Mitchell Robinson's fault. When Mitch is on the perimeter and they overplay the dribble handoff, all he has to do is open his hips and look at the rim.
Right.
But when you're taught to just give it to Jalen, just give it to Jalen, bro. Like legit, how many times do you see Mitch have his back to the rim, waiting, trying to give the ball, faking people out, trying to get it to the thing, when all he has to do is open his hips and look at the rim and just take off to the rim and throw it down.
That's
he
a fact.
did it yesterday.
Multiple, not just once.
Right. He did it yesterday and got a dunk off of it.
Yep.
He did it yesterday and got a dunk off of it. Right. All he had to do, he was like, the guy just overplaying, can't get open. He's got the ball for like 4 seconds, and now he panics, and then he just turns. He's like, oh shit, the Red Sea is open.
Wide open.
Wide open. And he just took off and went to the rim and dunked. But guess what? The Red Sea has been there the entire time.
Holy Moses.
Holy Moses.
Holy Moses. It's been there the whole time.
Yeah, they're overplaying everybody because you have your back turned. You have your back turned. You're no threat to the people behind you. So they're smothering everybody else because there's no offensive threat. You're not going to shoot the ball over your head. They know that's not how the NBA works. But when you turn and face the basket, now everybody has to be disciplined. Right? Everybody has to be disciplined. And the thing with Mitch, and this is just the Mitch part, right? This is just the Mitch part, right? Even if you take off to the rim and you don't get the dunk, but you get fouled, you still get a chance at free throws. Right? You still get a chance at free throws. And I know the free throws part is a touchy subject for Mitchell Robinson fans. It's not a touchy subject to me because I feel like the more that he shoots free throws, the better he'll get, the more comfortable he'll be shooting free throws.
Right. And adding one more thing, you're getting the other person gets a foul off of that. That other person might be important to that team.
Jay, I'm getting there, bro. I know
I'm look, I'm sitting there, I'm two-stepping, I'm probably my bad, bro.
I promise you, right? Because there's that point that Jay just mentioned, right? There's that part that Jay just mentioned, and then there's the part where if Mitchell Robinson's man has to be accountable to Mitch only, that means Mitch's man can't be at the rim for OG dunks. Mitchell Robinson's man can't leave him and go defend, say, Jalen Brunson. But here's the thing, though. It's not just a Mitch thing. The same thing that I mentioned about Mitch is the same thing that is a rock in my shoe about Josh Hart. Right? Josh, if you're being guarded by Joel Embiid, Josh, if you're being guarded by Joel Embiid, bro, and you don't take Joel Embiid off the dribble, why are we even playing basketball? Why? Why are we even playing basketball? Right? If Josh Hart is if the Sixers say, JoJo, we want you to rest on defense, we want you to guard Josh, and Josh gets the ball, and Joel Embiid gets to rest on defense, who's going to be able to guard JoJo on offense? Josh legitimately being passive, a passive scorer legitimately affects Mitchell Robinson's defense on the defensive end, right? On the defensive end, he legit affects Mitch, because now Mitch who screens all possession long on offense then has to go down and guard Joel Embiid, which means a fresh Joel Embiid against Mitchell Robinson. Now, Mitch held his ground somewhat in a lot of possessions. JoJo cooked, though. JoJo cooked. Fritz, what's good, bro?
Hey, what's up?
Talking basketball stuff, man, on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Talking some on the floor stuff, man. Some strategy.
X's and O's.
Yeah, man. Yeah. About how Josh Hart's passiveness on offense legit lets the defensive guy rest and then use that energy saved against our best defenders on offense. Now, this is just a rock in my shoe, right, for Mitch, because I think Mitch can be 14-12, 15-12, whatever it is on offense. Because I don't think Mitch is just a lob threat. I think Mitch can be a low post scorer if he's got confidence. But the thing is with guys like that, you have to put them in the correct positions to score, right? You don't want Mitch saucing up somebody and trying to run the pick and roll. You don't want Mitch doing that. You would want Mitch to get to the front of the rim and pin someone, and I can throw a bullet pass at his chin. That way he's got to catch it, and he's catching it high. So all he has to do is half turn and put the ball on the rim, right? And Mitch, I'm throwing it at your chin. If you don't catch it, bro, that's you get knocked out, not me. You know what I'm saying? I'm throwing this pass from 20 feet away. If you can't see a pass from 20 feet away at your chin, maybe basketball is not your thing, right? And so I know he'll catch those passes, but I'm just illustrating, a thing about Mitch. Like, I think we can get Mitch more involved offensively. Reward him for all the hard work he puts in. So, what's on your mind, Fritz?
Oh no, it's just just admiring the conversation. I don't want to throw you guys off track.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't throw you off track on this conversation though. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because I just walked in the middle of the conversation.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So the Mitch thing, that's just one of the things that bothers me. One of the other things though is Jalen Brunson's late game non-scoring situations is puzzling to me. Right? To me, it puzzles me some. Like Jalen Brunson's aggression somewhat is puzzling to me. Late in games, Jalen Brunson's non-scoring impact to me is questionable, and it was showcased yesterday late in the game. I spoke to my Sixers crew yesterday. Salute to King Green and the Sixers fans. There were some really questionable Jalen Brunson plays yesterday towards the end of the game, in those minutes that he's not scoring. And I think we see that a lot, but we don't say anything because Jalen Brunson is a fantastic NBA player. Jalen Brunson, legit, at the end of his career, could be a top 5 Knick of all time. If he just stays on this course. If he stays on this course, we may look at Jalen Brunson more favorably than we look at, and I hate to say this because y'all know how I love Melo. I'm going to name one of my grandbabies Carmelo Anthony, right? Because of how much I love Melo, right? But we may look at Jalen Brunson more favorably than we look at Carmelo Anthony.
Yep.
How you feel, Jay? I know I have a sense. I have a sense on how you feel about Carmelo Anthony. Just a sense. I don't know for sure. I never asked you. Well, let me ask you. How do you feel about Carmelo Anthony, bro?
You want to put out your sense, or you want to just ask me?
No, I want you. I'm asking you directly.
All right.
How you feel about Carmelo Anthony?
Carmelo Anthony, fantastic basketball player. One of the most raw talented ball players of that generation, right? Of that time.
Okay.
I never liked, so when people like compare the Brunson, the dribble, that was one of the things that I never liked about Carmelo Anthony, right? That he didn't keep his head up, could have gotten, more assists. The way he came into our team was another thing I didn't like from jump. I'm not a big fan on players forcing their way out. It's another thing of showing ever since the money got higher, look at me, look what I could do. I'm more important than the organization itself. I'm going to push myself out of this way no matter what. So I think he did a disservice to basketball, to Denver, and a little bit to us. And then, of course, you got plus sides. Man, the man is a bucket, a total bucket. A few superstars, including Kobe, said one of the hardest people to ever guard.
Right.
So he wasn't my I rooted for him like I would root for anybody else. He wasn't my favorite player on the team. But if we would have waited and we would have signed Carmelo Anthony, I think I would have felt different. And that's just the way I feel about the situation of how we got to the team.
Does waiting mean Carmelo would have signed with the Knicks?
No, I'm not saying it. Well, he pushed his way out to get to the Knicks, so I believe he would have signed with us.
Okay.
But it changed a lot of things. It changed the way Stat was playing.
Yeah.
Right. And I there were just a few things off about it. But then you're also talking about a man that helped stop a playoff drought. So my view on Carmelo Anthony is he was a great player. When he was in Denver, he was an amazing player, a dunking machine. And he wasn't necessarily that dunking machine here, though he was one of the best shooters just off wherever he was. Pick shot. I'm a stop shoot. You know what I'm saying? Stop and pop. Great. But he wasn't the type of player that I felt made his teammates better. And I think in order to be in a group of players, that you want to be part of, like, be named a superstar, that you do a lot of things. You got to be a leader. You got to be obviously you got to be great at your craft. You got to be a leader. But there was a lot of things I did like about him. He was a dog. He like I said, he scored a lot of points. He was a good shooter, did a lot of things, but I believe that he did not make his teammates better. And I don't know if that was an era thing or a Carmelo Anthony thing, because I did notice that quite a few people in that era were the same type of player.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna mention to you. I think my guy gets a bad rap. I think Carmelo Anthony, talent-wise, just talent, is probably a top 3 Knick of all time. Period. It's not, to me, it's not even up for discussion. When it comes to talent, I think Melo is top 3, maybe top 2. Right? I think the top 3 are, when it comes to the physical gift you're born with, right? It's Clyde, it's Pat, and it's Melo. Right? And it's Clyde because 6'5" point guards are not born every day. Right? They're created in a torture chamber. Right? Especially back then, when you touch the floor as a point guard back then, and everyone has the option to shoot first and you shoot last, and you still average 18 points a game. One is bonkers, even thinking about it. You're the last option and you still average 18 points a game. That's crazy. And then secondly, to be the forerunner of the 6'5" defensive guard. If you saw Gary Payton, you saw the dollar store version of Walt Clyde Frazier, right? If you saw a dude that nicknamed himself the Glove,
yes,
because of his defense, you saw the vending machine version of Walt Clyde Frazier.
The vending machine version.
Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. You saw the wet sandwich version of Walt Clyde Frazier, right? Now the thing with Patrick Ewing's archetype speaks for itself, right? Legit, Patrick Ewing before the injury in his rookie year was Marcus Camby-like, right? Except bigger. It's like Patrick Ewing before the first knee injury, the one that derailed his rookie season, was Marcus Camby taking the Steve Rogers serum. So Marcus Camby at 6'11", 200 pounds takes the 220 pounds, takes the super soldier serum and becomes Pat Ewing at 7 foot 240. Right? 7'1", 240. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Patrick Ewing, off of just the physical, guys like Pat are not. We see guys Pat size all over the NBA all the time, but can they do what Pat Ewing does? No. Right? Guys 7'1", 240 basically in the league now are just either 3-point specialists or role men. Right? That's it. Right? That's just it. So, yeah, I think Carmelo Anthony is a top physically gifted guy. Bodega says Marbury gets no respect. Nah, not in this conversation, bro. Because if we're talking, hey, Bodega, think about this. How many 6'2" explosive athletic point guards have you seen over your life? Right? And if you start naming names, Marbury is already out of the conversation. Right? I'm not, no disrespect to Starberry. I love Starberry, right? I love Starberry. But if I ask you how many 6'2" explosive guards have you seen in your life, and you start to name names, Marbury is already off the list. Right? He's already off the list. There's no disrespect to Starberry, but over the years, it's like a 6'2" explosive point guard. That's not an archetype that's rare. That's the opposite. That's probably the most common, at least in my opinion. In my opinion.
Yeah.
And mind you, and remember, everybody, I'm not talking about guys that are just good, because the Knicks have a lot of great players over the years. I specifically said physically gifted, not guys that were good and skilled. I'm talking about physically gifted, right? Physically gifted. Carmelo Anthony is a top 3 Knick, right? Mm-hmm. Because if we're talking about, if you want to bring up guys like Bernard King was a scoring machine. Yeah, he was a scoring machine. Could Bernard King jump out the gym? Was Bernard King Dominique Wilkins? No. Could Bernard King score? Yes. If Dominique Wilkins played for this organization, a prime Dominique Wilkins would be a top 3 physically gifted Knick of all time.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. There's a difference. There's the point. Just listen to what's said, as opposed to just wanting to be opposite. Just think about what was said. What was said was top 3 physically gifted.
So that's what I was saying. He was physically gifted. There was no doubt about his physical, his skill, and his gifts. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
At all.
We could have, if Amari Stoudemire had stayed healthy, we could almost have added him as a top 10 guy to what was said, physically gifted, but he couldn't stay healthy. So
yeah, that was a problem because before Carmelo got here and before the injury bug started hitting, Stat was carrying this team like on his back. His back was hurting. Like he was, and I believe he was making other people better on the team as well.
Yeah, incorporating more players.
And he was probably MVP for half a season.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You're right. That's a great point. Yep, like Jeremy Lin, exactly. Now I know that as far as gifts go, like I agree with what's on the screen right here. I do agree with that. But size, we're talking about size-wise and what Carmelo could do. We're talking about 2 different positions, number one, and we're talking about 2 different teams, 2 different surrounding casts, 2 different, a lot of things. But yeah, definitely I liked him, but Stoudemire made the team a better team.
I gotta think. I want to talk to you about the Carmelo thing just real quick. I want to shout out my guy Dripmore.
Drip
is in the building. Salute to Dripmore. Dripmore's in the building. The Carmelo Anthony thing is a fascinating topic in that the Carmelo Anthony top archetype is never going to be a quality leader that most fans think they should. And at the same time, they're never going to lead you to a championship. Period. It's just how things go. Carmelo Anthony's are the Carmelo Anthony archetype. And listen, this is no knock on Melo, who's a brilliant person, brilliant father, man, brilliant businessman, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
What I would say is this for my guy. Generally, the archetype of player that Carmelo Anthony is over the years, your Adrian Dantleys, your Alex English, your Kevin Durant, your Dominique Wilkins, your Bernard Kings, these type of guys legit are scoring machines. Their goal in life is to score, right? They're in their mind, they're hoopers. They score, they put the ball in the basket. And I liken it to, I'll equate it to the Pittsburgh Penguins of the late 80s and early 90s. The Pittsburgh Penguins had Ulf Samuelsson, Jaromir Jagr, and Mario Lemieux, right?
Yeah.
Jaromir Jagr could give a shit about what other people thought about his leadership and his non-willingness to pass and all that stuff. Because in his mind, scoring the puck is job number one. That's for hockey fans. Hockey fans, if you out there, for all my hockey fans, stand up, right? Right. The scorer and leader of that team was Mario Lemieux.
That's right.
Who was a leader of the franchise itself, possibly the best player in the NHL, even towards the end of Wayne Gretzky's career. Remember, Wayne Gretzky was still in the league, right?
Yeah.
And I'm using Mario Lemieux because I could have used Wayne Gretzky also, right? But I'm using Mario Lemieux because we know who Jaromir Jagr is. Jaromir Jagr was probably one of the most gifted scorers the NHL has ever seen. Did he want to win? Yeah. Was he a great leader? He don't care. Yo, guys, and so the point I'm getting at is guys like Melo and Alex English and who else? Name wing scorer X that you've seen over the last 40 years. They're not the guy that's interested in getting everyone going. They're interested in getting themselves going. They're not the guy that's going to die for a loose ball to get a defensive stop because they're offensive weaponry. One of the things about Melo over the years, it probably is a rock in some of our shoes, but if you understand the archetype of the player that he is, then you could understand, right? When you have a guy that's solely focused on putting the ball in the basket, you can't then ask them to be solely focused on other stuff too. Like Melo, not only do we need for you to dominate your matchup every night, not only do we need you to be our primary scorer every night, not only do we need you to defeat double teams, not only do we need for you to go on individual 8-point runs within a game, maybe 2 or 3 times, we also need for you to be the pseudo face of the franchise. And then say, well, Melo didn't pass it enough. His defense wasn't there. He didn't rebound enough. Hey man, Melo did a lot of stuff. Winning a championship wasn't one of them, right? Winning a championship wasn't one of them. But when you look at guys that are 20-point scorers in this league, Mitch Richmond, anybody remember Mitch Richmond? The shooting guard that was an absolute bucket.
The Golden State Memphis.
Yeah.
Anybody remember Glenn Rice?
Absolutely.
One of the scorers of all time. Right. And if you remember these guys, bro, they are walking buckets. And if you look at them as guys that probably should have done more with their team, they reached their limit, like legit, because they reached their limit. Because here's the thing. If you ask those guys, okay, let me say it in a different way. Saying those guys didn't do enough scoring is a disservice to them, because in their mind, they wish they could have scored more. They probably wish they would have taken more shots, because the scorer's mentality is not, hey man, I'm just going to get 20 and shut it down. Their mindset is, I'm gonna get buckets until I can't get any more buckets. So if we ask Carmelo, like, hey man, do you wish you would have taken more shots? Hell yeah, he wish he would have taken more shots. If you ask Melo, did he wish he could have scored more points? Hell yeah, he wish he could have scored more points. Right? But the other stuff that come along with, like leadership and all this type of stuff, man, that's a lot to ask for an archetype that is born to be that archetype. Right? It's just what it is, man. It's like asking Tom Brady to rush for 1,000 yards. Like, Tom, I know you threw for 4,000 yards, bro, but we need for you to rush for 1,000 yards too. That's a lot to ask. But if the Knicks had a point guard with Melo,
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
If
Like
the Knicks had a point guard with Melo and a guy that demanded respect from a scorer, right? Like Melo, you're gonna take 20 shots, but you're not just gonna take 20 shots anytime you feel like it. You're gonna take 20 shots within the flow of the offense and be more efficient. Right? That's what a point guard is gonna do. Like Melo, how many times during the Melo era did you see Melo give up a shot, give up a basket, and then stand under the rim to get the ball so that he can go down and score on the guy that scored on him? That's the dog in Melo. Julius Randle used to do it. How many times did you see the Knicks give up a basket and Randle stand under the rim to bring the ball up?
Yeah,
that's
like, give
dog.
It to me.
Yeah,
give it to me.
Yeah, that's the dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so out of respect for Melo, and his legacy, we have to understand who Melo is and the archetype of player that he is. Melo is a bucket. Right? Two archetypes can't lead your team to a championship, right? Two archetypes cannot lead your team to a championship. And when I say this, people will be offended, and I'm going to challenge them to furnish proof. And I mean the absolute leader. I don't mean part of the leadership team. I mean the absolute leader, right? Right? The enforcer is never going to lead you to a championship. The guy that's knocking people out of the air on dunks, he's never going to lead you to a championship, because that style of play is not conducive to winning championships, right?
Right.
You need a balanced guy. You need a balanced guy to be your leader, right? A guy that has perspective, right? A player that understands time and score, right? A player that understands situations, situational awareness, not caught up in a moment all the time. And a walking bucket is not going to lead you to a championship. Now, if you already have a great leader and you bring in a walking bucket, Kevin Durant to Golden State, they had already won a championship. They add Kevin Durant, and all of a sudden, they're unstoppable. And so when it comes to Carmelo Anthony's legacy, I think we have to look at Carmelo Anthony in a light of what type of player was he versus what type of player that we needed. Right? Right? That's the thing. That's the thing with Melo. Was Melo a Grant Hill type player that could score you 20 points, get you 10 rebounds and 10 assists, and play great defense? No. Melo is basically a 30-point per game scorer, and he's going to get those 30 points against anybody, any defense, against any defender from any team in any era. Right? Melo, it didn't matter. It didn't matter if you were facing Tony Allen. Tony Allen was going to get 30 points put on his head. It didn't matter if we were playing Bruce Bowen. Bruce Bowen was going to get 30 points put on. It didn't matter if Melo versus prime Scottie Pippen. Prime Scottie Pippen is getting 30 points put on his head. Prime Melo versus prime Scottie Pippen. Now, Melo may not get 35. He might not get 40, right? He might not get all that. But Melo is a bucket. And buckets don't often win championships. That's just what it is. Because they don't do the other stuff, right? You know who else is a bucket? And make everybody laugh. You know who else is a bucket? Karl-Anthony Towns. But does he do the other stuff? That's the thing. When guys are buckets, they're going to have the flaws in their game that are going to frustrate people to say, man, I wish we could have won a championship with such and such and such. But buckets are not, you're going to have a well-constructed roster for a bucket to thrive. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're talking about the leadership of a person versus the skill of the person. He definitely was an archetype. He definitely was a walking bucket. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you go look at those Denver teams when he did have a PG, when he did have somebody around him. Those teams, only reason that team didn't win a championship is there was something called the LA Lakers that had a complete team with one of the best centers and best shooters / players of all time. They got in their way.
Right.
So, but during that time,
just a bucket though.
But Kobe was, pardon me, Melo was a major bucket for Denver. If not, he's the go-to guy, but he had someone to give it to him. Even though he still would wait on the basket if something happened. No doubt about it. But it's just more complete of a team. Yeah. So the stuff I seen Melo do was astronomical. I'm gonna put a pin in my point. I don't know.
I understand.
I think you said it best. What you're saying.
I understand where you're coming from. I just don't. So, are you saying that Kobe was just a bucket?
No.
Okay, that's where I'm lost.
So, complete different team. No, okay. Complete different player. Completely. Was Kobe a walking bucket? Yes, he was a walking bucket. Of course he was. Was he just a bucket? No.
Okay.
He was a leader. He, as a boy, a literal teenager, like as a young man, he was already the type of leader amongst men.
Okay.
So it was just different. They were different, but like I said, what Kobe said, that Carmelo was one of the hardest people, if not the hardest people he ever defended.
Right. Because even though Kobe was the two-time NBA scoring champ, Kobe was 11 times All NBA defense.
Right. Two-way playing machine.
Yeah. But the one-way archetype scorer is you know, those guys, bro, anytime your offensive philosophy is give him the ball and get out of the way, your team is not going to win a championship, bro. Those teams don't win championships, right? Like, give a guy the ball, and if that's the strategy going in, you're not going to win a championship, bro. It's just one of them. It's one of them things I know is fodder for debate. Like, because man, what if Bernard King would have stayed healthy, man? Him and Pat, bro. If Bernard King stayed healthy, you're not drafting Pat Ewing. That's just what it is. If Bernard King is healthy, you're drafting John Stockton.
Right, and then you're not drafting Mark Jackson next year, and everything's completely different.
The butterfly effect, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's it's one of those things, man, where I love Melo. I'm always going to defend Melo, Pat, and Clyde, and I know there are up and comers. Like, I love Starberry, right? I think Larry Brown did him dirty, right? I love Starberry. I love Amari. Man, I love Bernard King. I love Gerald Wilkins. I have a John Starks tattoo that I hadn't showed everybody yet. I love John Starks. He's my favorite non-star Knick of all time. Right?
Yeah, it's one of mine.
But when it comes to the Melo thing, I think is very, very unfair, because Melo wasn't set up for success. And it wasn't just because Melo didn't wait, because there was a looming lockout and you didn't know what the salary cap was going to be like after the lockout. You know, do you get your money now, or do you go into the new collective bargaining agreement taking less money? Melo chose the money up front. And I don't blame people for getting money. Get money.
Get your bag.
Get money. Get money. That's the one thing. Get your money. Right. I don't blame guys for getting the bag. Right.
Yeah.
It's just, yo, hey Jay, you got a few minutes, man, before we get out of here. I wanted to do something else, everybody. I want to do something else after this. I got like 10 minutes. You want to talk some trades, bro?
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
You got a trade in mind that you thinking about, or should I go? Should I go with my trade? Go ahead with your trade first.
Oh, wait, you got trade? You got trade?
No, I was gonna just think of one.
All right, so I know I'm gonna make one person on here extremely happy, but I'm gonna go with the trade. And I love that Fritz, you listen.
Okay.
I love that you're here, because I know that you're gonna have the number crunch. Boom, boom, boom. Nope, can't happen. You're gonna shut me down. I'm gonna go lay down and cry.
Apocalypse already.
Right. I'm gonna go lay down and cry. I'm gonna be done. I think right now it feels. I'm gonna say why, and then I'm gonna say who. Mm-hmm. It feels a little bit like we lost Karl-Anthony Towns, and I feel like if your name is if you don't think that these people are their people, so that you don't think they're hearing the noise or they're hearing their name in trades, you're absolutely wrong. Okay. I would go out right now and trade Cat for Pascal Siakam, Jay Huff, and TJ McConnell. Because I believe that Cat is kind of checked out. A little bit checked out, if not a lot of it. And I'm not sure to begin with, he was ready for like half the noise that he's hearing, right? He was was ready for what he got when he was dropping last year, 25 and 13, and we're going places, we're doing things, and he expected it to never stop. And when it stopped, automatic something happened in him. Like he had the other day, like 12 and 18. It was the quietest 18 I've ever seen. So do I think he's a good player? Yes. So I think it works good for both places because when Halliburton comes back, he'll have a cat to play with. But if you brought Siakam over here and your starting lineup is JB, Bridges, OG, Siakam, and Mitch, and your backup is a bona fide 7'1", 240-pound man who gets 2.1 blocks a game.
Pat Ewing.
Pat Ewing in the white flesh. If you brought the white Pat Ewing over and you gave him more time, that you would no doubtedly have a good starting unit, and you would have a good second unit, and you could even sometimes, when Mitch is off, have Huff get in there and and start the game. So, I think it does a lot. I think it also pushes Huff to be better. It pushes all these people to be better. So that's one trade that I have. I'll stop with that one for now.
I think as a Knicks fan, I think most Knicks fans would do that. I don't think the Pacers would.
Okay. Would you do that?
I do it, but Pacers wouldn't.
No. Does it fit? Oh, I'm sorry. Good. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, brother.
No, like trading Cat for someone who plays both ways, but Cat's on that list. Like he's on that. The trend is if you're a one-way player and you're on your way out, you're not worth anything. So Trae Young just got that treatment. Ja just found out he's on that list, and he ain't worth nothing. I think he would be on that list. Maybe you have to wait for that trend to end before you trade him. But right now, nobody's going to give you what he's worth. Yeah, I think Pascal plays both. He plays some defense, he plays some offense. Yep. Not as offensively skilled, but yeah, he would fit better. He would fit better.
Yeah, and I think he fits better also for the way Brown coaches. He just seems to work better with that size, that type of team. Yeah, and I do love the way he's a two-way player like that. That's interesting that Cat in the trend. Interesting. But if it could work, you would love that trade.
Oh yeah, especially TJ McConnell.
Right? Ooh.
Yeah, that would be that's two birds, one stone. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh man, who doesn't love two birds with one stone?
Hold on, where's TJ McConnell gonna play at? Just interested, dude. Where's TJ McConnell gonna play at? Whose minutes is he gonna take?
Oh no, like I'm out of Bridges.
Whose minutes is he gonna take?
He's going to.
Whose minutes is he gonna take? Whose minutes is he gonna take?
Well, Kolek ain't playing now anyway, so he'll play. He'll be back at point guard.
You can't take zero.
More minutes than that.
You can't take 0 from 0, bro.
Right. He'll have to add minutes and subtract minutes.
So he's taking Deuce's minutes then.
Some of them, yes.
Deuce.
Okay. All right.
Deuce. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I don't think there's an easy trade. I don't think there's an easy trade to be made right now.
Right. So in terms of that Indiana trade, though, whose minutes is the backup point guard from Indiana? Whose spot is he taking? Because if we just do a 1 for 3, right? If we do a 1 for 3, who's getting cut from the Knicks roster, and whose minutes are these guys going to take?
Who's getting cut from the roster?
Right, because you're doing a 1 for 3. You're adding 3 while subtracting 1.
Well, I think then you also have to try to trade Comdadier, and I know that's not your favorite thing to hear. And
It's not my trade scenario. I'm asking.
Right.
I'm just wanting to see if this makes. I'm just wanting to see if this makes basketball sense. Not in a Uncle Freezy's favorite guy thing, but in a basketball sense.
I then we try to unload somehow Yabu by putting in Dadier with that, and maybe getting either some picks or another player. But I think we're going to sign one of those 40-day guys. So I think we'd have to unload. We would have to do something with Yabu, maybe even cut him. I don't know what we'd have to do as far as that. But if you give me enough time, I'll think about that. But I think that we would have to trade those two guys for one guy or for some picks, sign one of the 40-day guys. And if that fills the roster, I'm good with that.
Right. Why not swap the guy that you're taking minutes for? So if he's going to come here and do this, because he's playing 17 minutes a night, why not trade the guy that's playing 17 minutes a night?
In Kolek?
Or whoever it is for the Knicks. Like, who's he replacing? Basically, I'm saying that the replacement theory, if a guy is going to be bumped, why not send him to Indiana?
Right, I hear you. I think TJ McConnell gives you as much assists and defense. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He's like a super role player. He's on par with like Deuce. Like what Deuce is to us, McConnell's
right. Deuce. But we already know who Deuce is.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, he's not like a thrower.
Are you sending out? Who's either sitting the bench, getting cut, or being sent to Indiana?
I believe McConnell only has 1 year left on his contract, so I would have to really think about that. I don't want to snap decision that, you know what I'm saying, without doing some diligence to it. But
what about Jordan Clarkson?
That's a name I'm thinking of.
Would y'all entertain sending Jordan Clarkson in that deal?
The politics of it, probably not.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't bother the Knicks, but the politics of it, of a guy who went out of his way to sign here and you ship him to nowhere.
Right.
Who isn't going to do anything. Yeah, the politics of it is bad.
Yeah, that's bad. It's a bad look. It's a bad look.
But you gotta move. You gotta move somebody, man. Listen, the trade only makes sense if it makes sense for both sides.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Right. I don't think Indiana would want any parts of that because Indiana is trying to get rid of our guy. Yeah, Indiana didn't want Obi Toppin. If Obi wasn't injured, he'd be traded. So yeah, I don't think a one-way player for Indiana would work for them.
Okay. I'm in my mind. So the thing is, I don't have a beef with Jay's trade. I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Where the complexities come in is the execution of the trade itself, right? And the improvement of the roster going forward. Because if we're just moving around deck chairs, just leave the deck chairs where they are. Because the thing about moving around deck chairs is you're in a perpetual state of moving around deck chairs. That's where you have to come in and get help for the person that always wants to make changes. Like the people, like that's why you can't have people that love making changes. They can't be in charge of nothing. You gotta give them a certain responsibility and let them do that. Because if you let them make changes all the time, even when things are right, they still want to make changes. Right? So if it's like one of those things, if the Indiana trade makes sense, like the Knicks bringing in Siakam, one of the clear things that would have to be addressed is how does Pascal Siakam, Jay Huff, and TJ McConnell improve the Knicks? Right? And why would Indiana, in a down year, with their star coming back, make a major move when a healthy roster made the NBA Finals? If I'm Indiana and I made the NBA Finals, beating the Knicks, by the way, in the Eastern Conference Finals when they had Cat, why would I do this trade and take Cat off their hands, knowing we could beat the Knicks at any time, just healthy? That's what I'm thinking about in my mind. If I'm a Knicks fan, though, I'm thinking, if I'm a Knicks fan and you're forcing me to trade Cat, right? If you're like, because I want to keep the roster exactly the same. I want to keep the roster exactly the same. I don't want to do a trade. But if James Dolan forced my hand to make a trade, my first instinct is, if I have to trade Cat, I'm trading Cat for an expiring contract, comparable contract, and draft picks. That's what I'd like to do. If I have to do it, I'm trading Cat. And this is only chat. Again, I don't want to trade anyone. But if my hand is forced, I'm trading Cat for a comparable contract that's expiring this year and future first-round picks. And I don't care who the player is, because I might not play that player anyway. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's player X. I don't care if it's, I don't know. I don't care if it's Kawhi Leonard, right? I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. I don't care who the player is. I'm trading Cat for an expiring contract that gives me flexibility, right? And first-round picks. That's it. Right? In terms of a sweetheart trade, no team is going to look to a team that made the Eastern Conference Finals the summer before and look to do a sweetheart trade with them, especially if they're in competition with that team. That's my mindset. Now, these teams have relationships. You may see whatever. Teams, we don't know what these front offices are thinking inside of their walls. I'm solely thinking about what's logical based on how I perceive those teams. Right? Like, would Indiana legit in a down year where they know they're not going to do anything, gut their team, knowing that they made the finals when they were healthy? I don't know. Right? It's
I don't know either.
It's a question, man. It's a great question. It's something to think about.
I know this. They're not going to go out there and trade Cat for Zion Williamson or any of those guys, right? So if we want to talk the truth about things, and people who like players just to like players and want to bring them over here, that's not what I'm doing, right? I'm doing a trade that I think would improve our team, right? I'm not doing a trade where I think it will do certain things, but just because we love certain players from other places doesn't mean that those players who have been formerly broken every single year of their career, or even worse than that, because we go out and get somebody like that, he'll be at the buffet with Yabu. So I don't even want to hear about that type of trade. I want a trade that makes us better.
Yeah, I don't think there's really a trade to make us better. That Cat goes out. Like, he's on the list. He's in that archetype. Like, right now, you're gonna get taken, like, in a trade.
Right. I hear you.
So,
I hear both of you. Yeah. And it's funny that you said that. I was going to ask you if you believe Cat is an archetype.
I think what's happened over the last few months have put him in a place where he's in that category. He I don't know. He might be able to undo it, but yeah, it's just the way this year has gone down. His value is way less. I think if you went over the summer and you traded Cat, you could have brought something. You added a little something. You could have brought back a lot of things, but right now, no.
His value is different.
Yeah, one of the things about a Cat trade too is this. And I know a lot of people think deeply about stuff, right? Because I hear it all, man. People text my phone, DM me stuff, and listen, I don't mind like the trade conspiracy stuff, bro. It's fun for some.
Yeah, it is fun. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, but the thing is if you have a problem, I'll give an example. I have a homegirl, right? I ain't gonna say her name because it ain't none of y'all business. But I have a homegirl, right, that legit every time she has a life problem, she do something to herself. Instead of fixing the life problem, she'll shave one side of her head and dye the other side and get a tattoo or something that says something crazy like, life beat me down, but I still keep rising, or something, or get a tattoo of a phoenix or something. Now, I know y'all don't have people like that in your lives. I do, right? That have a problem, right, and they have and their fix for it is doing something else, right? Like maybe in a bad relationship with a person, leave that relationship and then get her nose pierced, right? And start going to the gym. And in my mind, I'm like, wait a minute. So the problem is this, and you decide to do this. So you don't address the problem straight on. You come in for the soft landing because it's comfortable and safe. And Knicks fans are in this place where y'all legitimately had a problem with Julius Randle, right? A problem. I know this because I'm a content creator with one of the dopest shows on YouTube, not just because of me, but because of the following, because of y'all, right? I know this. Y'all had a problem with Julius Randle. Uncle Freezy, you got to trade him. You got to get him out of here. Randle, let that man shoot the three in the corner. Randle. And then you trade Randle.
And you miss him.
And now Cat is here. And now you're like, Uncle Freezy, you got to trade Cat because all this stuff, right?
But last year they were talking about Cat was 10 times better than Julius Randle last year.
All these things, bro. Fritz, before Randle was here, remember it was, man, Noah Vonleh and Enos Cantor, Enos Freedom, yeah, Uncle Freeze, we just got to trade. And now it's Cat. And you're going to trade, say, for instance, Milwaukee wakes up with a wild hair up their nose and say, okay, we'll just do Cat for Giannis. And then we'll have to wait for Giannis. We'll have to wait 4 to 6 weeks for Giannis to get healthy. Right? We have to wait those 4 to 6 weeks for Giannis to get healthy. And then we have to wait the requisite time for the team to gel. So 4 to 6 weeks from now is March. And then you're going to hope in 6 weeks that a team with Brunson, OG, Bridges, Giannis, and Mitch can gel going into the playoffs and to make a deep playoff run, right? Now, mind you, when Giannis arrives, Giannis is the man. There's no more Jalen Brunson is the man. Take that stupid C off your chest. Right? You ain't Giannis here. You're not the big boss man no more. Giannis is. Right? Mm-hmm. You ain't done nothing compared to what Giannis has done in his career. And Giannis is entering his prime. Right? So now we have to, from early March through the playoffs, we have to get used to Giannis being the man and Jalen Brunson playing second fiddle. And Josh Hart being stapled to the bench. Because Giannis not only does what Josh Hart does, but he does it at a Hall of Fame level. And no lineup with Josh Hart and Giannis in it is going to make any sense. Right? At all. Why do you need a smaller, not quite as productive Giannis doing Giannis stuff when you have Giannis in his prime? Right? And then, so no matter what we get, basically my point is, regardless of what the Knicks do, they're still gonna have an in-house problem. So why not just solve the in-house problem with what you have, as opposed to rearranging the deck chairs over and over? Because this is the classic case where the Knicks, if they have a problem, should honestly say, listen, man, it's not you, it's me. I'm going to put on this Michael Jackson song from like 87, and I'm going to play it until I figure out my problem.
On repeat?
On repeat.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
I'm starting with The Man in the Mirror.
Okay. Stop.
Bro, the thing is, if Cat is the problem, right? If Randle was the problem, if Noah Vonleh was the problem, if the problem is always the problem, is it the player you bring in? You're looking to solve your problem, or should you not shave the side of your head and dye it green and go get your nose pierced and get a tattoo of a phoenix? Or should you just tackle the problem head on?
And work on that problem in the house.
Right. Acknowledge that you have the issue and then work on that problem. The problem is the content creators point out the problem every night, but there is no magic elixir. I've been trying to tell people for years. People think this is true, but there is no such thing as magic. You can't wave a wand. You can't wave your mouse cursor and bring Giannis here and think there won't be a transitional issue that stops you from winning this year. There's just not.
Yeah, Giannis is gonna make a step back. It's a step back.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can regain something in the future, but it's a step back because you're gonna give up enough. You're gonna be a diminished team. Giannis isn't as much as he's talented as he is. He's not perfect.
And neither is Cat.
Neither is Cat.
Neither was Randall.
Yeah. Then they're gonna be complaining, hey, man, he just need to work on that jump shot. You know what I mean?
Yep. Not to mention the fact that he won't be available for almost 2 months.
In my mind, we have the pieces here. Why don't we weaponize Mitchell Robinson? Mitch, when they overplay the dribble handoff role, just look at the rim. The guys behind you are partying like they're overplaying Brunson and all the offensive weapons. Meantime, the shot clock is tick, 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 tick. Now, that's not the major problem. That's a minor problem, right? Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is if we fix a minor problem a little bit at a time, fix minor problems all along the way, you'll notice that the big problems that we had disappear on their own. I'm not saying Mitch dribble handoff issue is not the reason why we get into these scoring lows, right? But Mitch facing the rim fixes a minor issue, right? Like when you check tire light come on, right? And you just go put air in the tire, check the tire and put air in it. It stops you from getting a flat, right? Or it stops you from needing to get your tires aligned down the road. One tire is low, one tire is not. Now you're driving, now your car is out of alignment. Now you got to get your car aligned when all you had to do was put air in the tire. These are the small things. And no, Jay, I'm not a mechanic. I know.
That's not what you told me yet. That's not what you told me yesterday. Stop it. You know what? When I asked you to help me fix you know what? I knew that was a low estimate you gave me.
Yeah. My bad.
All right. So I want to say, look, if what you're saying, which I won't disagree with either. You could fix it. We should fix it. Why haven't they fixed it? And are they going to fix it?
Bro, it's because of egos. Remember, bro, like some of these dudes, when you ask them to take a little bit of themselves and give it to someone else, we're in all-star voting season, bro. Like if you say, listen, if you say, man, look out for my guy Mitch when you do this. And somebody be like, man, you asking me to pass up an 8-footer to get Mitchell Robinson a touch at the rim? Mitch ain't gonna shoot no way. I'm trying to get my all-star numbers up.
Right.
Or also for their whole life, that they've been told they're great at something. You told them not to do something they've been told that they're great at their whole life.
Right.
And it's like, and maybe the coach has one way. He's like, hey, maybe the coach needs to compromise and give me a little bit more of what I need. And
right.
Yeah, it's not totally buying in, and totally buying in mean not going against the coach, but not believing in it.
Right.
And if you don't believe in it, everybody else can tell that you don't believe in it. And so they have to make up for your not buying it.
Right. And the Mike Brown offensive system clearly favors perimeter shooting. There should not be a night where you see Deuce McBride, Jordan Clarkson, Landry Shamet, and all those guys take the same amount of shots as Cat. But we see that. Now, Cat's role is diminished, and you're asking a traditional scoring big to sacrifice shots for damn Landry Shamet and Deuce McBride. And then to say, hey, man, if you get a look, can you look out for Mitch? They ain't doing that because Mike Brown's system is basically the way it looks now. The way it looks now, it may not be the intent, but the way it looks now is that, man, you got to give these shots to all these perimeter guys, stretch the floor, shoot 53s a game. That's what we're looking at right now. So, I mean, it's weird in that sense of, like, I'm looking at the bench. The bench, bro, we have Deuce, Clarkson, and Shamet all take more than 6 shots a game. Right? On a team that takes 91 shots a game, and on a team that takes 91 shots a game, right? Jalen Brunson is taking 21 of those shots. Right? So your orders, Brunson's going to take 21. Cat is going to take 14 or less. Cat started the season at 16, and that number is trending downwards. Bridges is taking 13. OG's taking 12. Deuce's number is at 10 and going up. Josh's number is at 9 and steady. Clarkson's number is at 8 and going up. Shamet's number is at 6 and going up.
Going up. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you do?
Trade him to the Pacers.
What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Do you just trade him? Of course, you trade him for Siakam and watch Siakam get here and be mad as hell because Deuce and all those other guys are taking shots off the perimeter, and Siakam, who's a great NBA scorer, watch his shots go down because of Mike Brown's system.
Mike Brown.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, I was trying to get to this. I need to do something. I'm trying to work on something else, everybody. I've been itching to get to it all day. I'm gonna have to leave on that thought. I want to thank everybody for coming through and rocking. Man, continue to leave your comments, man. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, continue with the ongoing conversation, everybody. Thank y'all for coming through. Peace, everybody.
I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fams on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved.